forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Hey, Eric. It's Tom. We're getting ready for the video call for the wrap up and just making sure you're ready. Thanks, man. Bye. Hey, E-Dog. It's T-Tom. No, that's just... Hey, Eric. It's Tom. That's way too high.
Hey everyone, it is Eric and Tom, and we are back from the Hallett Motor Racing Circuit in Oklahoma. This is a really technical track. It rewards good driving over horsepower, and most of the teams at this race didn't have either. Judging this race, which was the Lemons Hallettosis, by the way, was the brilliant and rightly esteemed Sajeev Mehta. Oh, and Tom. Why did you leave me 6 voicemails, Tom?
At the time of this race, Sajeev was also bringing back the roots of automotive journalism by writing about the beaded seat cover. He used this event to test various examples all weekend.
Oh, wow. Yeah, beaded seat covers, baby. Woo!
Sajeev and I also got one of the weirder bribes I've seen so far. One of the salvage racing guys had multiple hip replacements, so he bribed the judges with one of his artificial hip joints. We opted to have him turn it into a shift knob instead.
That looks hip, Pop. That looks real hip.
And a hip wasn't the only thing that got replaced. They also had to swap the clutch on their Mustang, which was one of 5 Mustangs. There were also 4 Camaros at this event. In other news...
Yeah, Battle-Scarred Motorsports brought back their venerable Ford Pinto wagon.
This car reminds me of my youth. Summer nights, Danish exchange student, the back of my old Pinto wagon.
Tom, wasn't that this exact Pinto wagon?
It was. I sold it to them, and they even gave me and my current wife some new t-shirts. I say current wife because she's tired of hearing about all this.
Imagine that.
The judges doled out some excellent penalties, including the Big Bird.
Sunny day, sleeping up, clouds away.
Do not pass under yellow.
This BMW driver was a good sport about the old saran wrap penalty.
I will not spin out twice. I will be better next time. I regret my actions considerably.
Now, I know we've ragged on BMWs a lot over the years. The Greasy Hands Society drank their way through tech inspection with a flight of different automotive fluids. That was great. However, they racked up 3 black flags early on Saturday, so we installed one of their drivers as the mayor of the penalty box. His team made him a sash and a top hat, and he gave a rousing campaign speech.
Why me? Well, Judge, you see my driving. It's consistent.
Now, these strong oratory skills got them back on the track, but about 15 minutes later, they returned.
Not exactly great for your poll numbers.
In honor of the United States turning 250 years old this year, 2 penalized teams competed to collect 250 of anything. Team 556 did the smart thing and began counting pebbles. Team 892 took a different approach. They rushed over to the paddock shop to buy some Skittles.
Into the turn.
That's a pretty good approach. I mean, you can eat the Skittles after you count them. Although, I guess Camaro guys might be eating pebbles.
Oh! Woo! What, I eat rocks?
One of the best things about Lemons is the ability to turn a negative into a positive, and Jaeger Bull was able to do just that. They got several black flags in their BMW 325. I know that is a shocking development, but one of the drivers began venting his frustration to our event manager, Kim. FYI to all of you drivers, Kim is not someone to be trifled with. After calming down a bit, he surprised us all by coming back to the penalty box and apologizing for losing his cool.
Okay, that's my bad.
And to personally deliver a bouquet of flowers to Kim.
We had some spectacular themes, including these rookies who did their Honda Odyssey up as a Japanese version of the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo. It was an excellent first showing, but they put their transponder in a weird spot and had 1 or 2 incidents on the track.
Yes, might have gotten away with it too. If it wasn't for these blasted kids and their dog.
You know, People think a great Lemons car is going to be a BMW or Miata. It turns out that vans have way more advantages, like instant IOE contender, storage, and it's a better place to live than a Chevy Cruze after your wife kicks you out because you can't stop reminiscing about high school and Danish foreign exchange students and Ford Pintos. So here's a list of vans we haven't seen in Lemons that you could be the first one to run. Buick Terraza, Isuzu Oasis, 3rd Gen Chrysler Minivan, Saturn Relay, Chevy Uplander, Ford Freestar, Mazda MPV, Mercury Villager, Mercury Monterey, Eco Vista Wagon, Ford Taurus X, Chevy Venture, Hyundai Entourage, Kia Sedona, Oldsmobile Silhouette, Volkswagen Bruton, and much, much more. Let us know in the comments what minivan you're gonna bring to Lemons.
We've seen more Smokey and the Bandit themes than we care to count, but Sheriff Buford T. Justice wasn't always in shorty shorts.
I gotta barbecue your ass in molasses.
And Eye Candy was back with their Cheaty Solstice GXP.
$500 my ass.
The price is wrong.
Didn't matter. They exploded a brake caliper and finished at the bottom half of the field. They did, however, have a great blind driver theme. One day I will create a cure for blindness. You'll see. You'll all see.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
The Shopaholics have been strong themers from the beginning, and this weekend was no exception. They had a fantastic Where's Waldo theme complete with Oddlaw.
Wait, what's Oddlaw?
Oddlaw is Waldo spelled backwards. He's Waldo's evil twin and arch nemesis who wears black and yellow.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
They blew up on test day, but we knew they were going to fix it. So we waited. And waited. And waited.
Earn this.
We didn't find the Waldo E30 on track on Saturday or Sunday, which I guess is pretty on theme. But after some vehement searching of the paddock, we found it dead in its garage.
BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Now, they didn't let this automotive tragedy distract them from their culinary aspirations for the weekend, and early Saturday they began cooking an entire pig on a spit for the potluck. Unfortunately, it didn't twerk.
What do you mean, it didn't work?
No, it didn't twerk.
Not Too Fast, Not Too Serious had a mediocre theme, but they made up for it with their 2JZ engine.
Shaboy! Sugar Man.
And we've seen Sparkle Rose's Miatas, plural, before, but separately. For the first time, they brought the cars from Alabama and Colorado to meet in the middle. Sparkle Rose's Daydream, the second gen Miata, was dressed as a happy unicorn, and the 94 Miata was themed as the dark rival Nightmare. Just looking at them, you'd probably assume the Nightmare and its drivers were the evil ones, but it turns out the shiny pink unicorn was the more malevolent of the two, crashing into multiple competitors over the weekend. The half-fast Beetle needed some pretty serious straightening out after that, but they were gifted a unicorn horn to commemorate the ordeal.
Our dear friend and frequent Lemons judge Neil Losi was uncharacteristically kind of a menace at this race. He was offered seat time in the skid steer Mercury Cougar, which had a fantastic Storm Chasers theme from the movie Twister. Now, that was totally on brand for a race in Tornado Alley. Neil got behind the wheel and severely underestimated the high power of this Malaise-era sedan, going 4 wheels off just seconds into his first lap. Then the Mofoco guys offered him a stint in their spotless mid-engine Dodge Magnum. He had a little bit of contact, and then the front end of the car came out throwing gang signs. Turns out Neil was a bit lucky the teams decided not to press charges. Tarp Racing had a dramatic blow-up, but they were luckily able to fog for mosquitoes for an entire lap.
Oh, that was a good smoke right there.
Mo Minis Mo Problems has 4 minis.
Well, to quote John Belushi, all things in moderation. The Superman Mini needed a ball joint, so they took a long and arduous trip to the parts store.
You said a distributor for 98 Chevy?
Nah, that, they door-dashed it. This particular Mini is a hand-controlled car provided by TCB Racing to a really wonderful charity called Onward Motion.
And we had two 2001 PT Cruisers going head-to-head, which means it's time for our favorite game show,
Which PT Cruiser sucked least?
Let's meet our contestants. Over here, we've got a 2001 non-turbo PT Cruiser from the Mile High Pistons, originally purchased for $10,000 over MSRP by a boomer, and then acquired by this team when that boomer died. And in this corner, we have Cruiser Against the Machine and their 2001 non-turbo PT Cruiser that has literally the same backstory. So now it's time to answer the question that's on everyone's mind. Which PT Cruiser sucks least?
Seeing so many jacked up cars all weekend gave me more ideas for business opportunities. If I ever opened a Jack store, I don't think I'd call it Jack Central.
Pro Farm Racing was back with their black and mild themed Pontiac G6. Halfway through Saturday, we saw the team posted up beside the car with the hood propped up, and we just assumed something had gone catastrophically wrong. Turned out, nothing was broken, nothing was leaking, nothing was on fire. They were just on a smoke break, which I guess could be considered theming in this case?
Honestly, respect. Nothing says laid-back strategy like treating the whole track like your front porch. Here are your class winners. Your Class A winners, Team Shocker, have been competing in Lemons for at least 15 years with several different cars. And this Class B winning Mustang had an engine that gets a bad rap, the infamous Essex V6.
Get up, get on up, stay on the scene, get on up like a
Essex Machine.
Your Class C winner was a 1979 Mercury Bobcat. This car used to purr, but now it drones.
That same Bobcat also won our special award, the Malaise Cup. Now, if you don't know, the Malaise era includes all cars built and sold here from 1973 to 1983. Some people are saying that the Malaise era ran from 1973 to 1989.
Some people say.
Some people say it's exploitive. What do you say to that?
But the OG Lemons judge himself, Judge Phil, coined the phrase in 2011, and it's 1973 to 1983, and stop arguing about it. Now, with a Gremlin, a Pinto, a Bobcat, a Celica, a Datsun B210, a Datsun 200SX, and a first-gen RX-7 in the mix, it was basically like an IMSA entry list from the depths of the Malaise era. The Bobcat came in 15th overall, just wiping the floor with all of the Malaise era cars, plus BMWs, Miatas, Mustangs, Camaros, and a Solstice GXP. If you bring a Mercury, good things are bound to happen to you in Lemons.
Our I Got Screwed winners were the Hellman. At their last race, this team spent 36 hours trying to pass tech, but at this race, they ran great. That is until about halfway through the race session on Saturday.
Welcome to the Firebird Side Chat radio program on KFRU 1170, the voice of Oklahoma.
My fellow Lemons racers, the Hellmen have been met with great calamity. The only thing they had to shear has sheared itself. The hub, welded fast to the axle, gave way under terrible strain. In an instant, the wheel tore free, vanished beneath the car, and hurled the whole contraption skyward with a force that could be scarcely believed.
They again spent 36 hours trying to fix the car to no avail, but they didn't let that crush their spirits. They had a really positive attitude, and when they jerry-rigged it enough to roll the car back onto the trailer, they considered that a victory.
Our Heroic Fix trophy went to the rookies of Team 0 to 60. This car was a senior capstone project from some students who attended the Harvard of the South, Rice University. They bought the car for $300 and immediately got to work on the cage. They went for a 1984 theme and festooned the car with surveillance cameras so Big Brother could watch. Dressed in ties and blazers, they looked less like endurance racers and more like junior party officials sent to investigate unauthorized fun. Naturally, the car responded in true dystopian fashion. First came clutch issues, then battery troubles, and finally the alternator crapped out. They couldn't find a replacement that would fit, so the team drilled holes, fabricated brackets, and adapted a one-wire alternator from a 1970s truck into the car. In the end, this was not merely a repair, it was a glorious victory of human ingenuity over objective reality.
Judge's choice went to another rookie team, butt-sweating beers in their 1990 Toyota Tercel. Now, this is a true Lemons car in every sense, and it was the talk of the paddock. They found it seized up in a pasture where it had been sitting for 22 years unbothered. Throughout the weekend, they overcame every hurdle that was thrown at them, including alternators, batteries, fuel pumps, fuel line, brakes, pretty much the whole car. By Sunday afternoon, the only thing they hadn't replaced was the VIN number. Judge's choice, just look at this thing.
Organizer's choice went to Sharknado Alley and their Honda Civic. There was a shark, there was a chainsaw, and of course there were tornadoes. This team bribed us with the Guess Most Destructive Oklahoma Tornadoes penalty.
Number 6, poured out. Oh, good
Guys, my goodness.
On top of that, this dude stayed in a super hot rubber shark mask all weekend. Most importantly, they came in 32nd overall with literally the slowest lap times of any car out there. But they just kept turning laps, proving once again that not braking is more important than speed.
Halloween Meets Gasoline, given out to the team with the best theme and coming with $1,000, went to Fuku Motorsports and their Subaru Impreza wagon. The theme? Well, it was a parody of the 24 Hours of Lemons with 24 hours of oranges. To establish the superiority of their preferred citrus, Fuku went around the paddock administering a blind taste test between fresh orange juice and fresh lemon juice with 0 added sugar.
That absolutely looks like pee. Oh, God.
They printed up and hung their own banners, and the team captain was a giant orange with a zesty personality.
The IOE, our top award that goes to the team who does the most with the least, went to Plump Friction and their 68 Mercedes 250. This team bribed us with a defunct factory trivia penalty.
Hella sweets!
Their car used to belong to General MacArthur's doctor?
That's cool, I guess, but what's the significance to us?
Absolutely nothing.
Somewhere along the way, it was diagnosed with not being a race car itis, and the only prescription was a roll cage and a zebra paint job. They broke several components throughout the weekend, but they just kept fixing stuff and soldering on. It's a super slow and stately old rust bucket that has no business on a racetrack, which is exactly why we love to see it out there beating a bunch of cars that it absolutely shouldn't have. IOE all day.
And here is Lemons in a nutshell.
Get on up! Get up! Get on up! Stay on the scene! SX machine! Like an Essex machine! Get on up! Woo!
Every second you don't subscribe or watch one of these videos, another Vega is sent to the crusher. Won't you help us save Classic?